Time was tight, Luo Feng couldn't afford to waste it. Mom, Dad, all of you stay at home. If there's any danger, go to the gravity room upstairs. Luo Feng emphasized the gravity room's material was extremely sturdy, even a Star Traveler level 9 warrior would have a hard time destroying it. After all, this was a gravity room for planetary states to cultivate in. It was relatively safe in the gravity chamber. Babata, set the gravity room to my parents, my brother Zhennan and Su Xin. Luo Feng said, at the same time, set the gravity to 1 times. It's done. Babata's efficiency was very high, he could directly control it from a distance. Little Feng, be careful. Luo Honghua and Gong Xinlan had talked to Su Xin on the way back, and already knew the severity of the situation. Only Luo Hua and Zhennan weren't sure. Brother, come back soon, Luo Hua shouted. Luo Feng waved his hand and swiftly left the house. Tonight was destined to be a race against time for humanity. Luo Feng's autojet swiftly rose into the sky and left Yangzhou City. The fastest speed of an autojet can reach 8,000 meters per second. How long will it take to reach ruins number 12? Luo Feng asked. This autojet wasn't originally this fast, but during his free time, Babata kept it in his storage space and did some simple modifications. His speed immediately soared from 10 times the speed of sound to 8,000 meters per second. According to Babata's words, this little bit of improvement is nothing. For a spaceship to travel in the universe, reaching the critical point of light speed is the most basic. Compared to the speed of light, this speed is nothing. Regarding this, Luo Feng didn't say much. He had no choice. To the AI Babata, whose level of civilization was comparable to the higher civilizations of the universe, this sort of modification was indeed very easy. It will take around 20 minutes to reach the 12th ruins, Babata said. Luo Feng's cell phone rang. It was Head Hong calling. Hello, Luo Feng answered. Luo Feng, there's something I need you to sacrifice. Hong's voice resounded. Please speak, Head. Luo Feng didn't hesitate at all. According to the hydrogen bomb attack plan before the prehistoric level autojets attack, they will arrange for other, extreme model, fighter jets to carry atomic bombs and attack. To confuse the public, Hong explained. Luo Feng listened and slightly nodded. That's right. The prehistoric level autojet was unique to the Dojo of Limits, it was triangular. Like Luo Feng's carriage. Most of the other countries had flying saucers. In order to make the prehistoric level auto fighters less conspicuous, it was a good idea to arrange for more triangular fighter jets to carry atomic bombs and attack. Atomic bomb? An atomic bomb with a yield of tens of thousands of tons? Even Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God didn't care. Not to mention the Devourer Beast. They want to use the other triangular fighter jets to carry the atomic bomb and attack. The Devourer Beast will discover that its attacks pose no threat. Luo Feng's eyes flashed. Then suddenly one of the normal-looking ones will suddenly unleash a super-large bomb. Luo Feng thought about it and felt that this plan would work. It seemed simple, but it was easy to succeed. Luo Feng, however, there aren't many extreme model fighter jets in Asia. Hong said, I need to reach the battlefield in a short amount of time. I hope your autojet will become one of the cannon fodder. No problem, Luo Feng didn't hesitate at all. An autojet really isn't much to Luo Feng, and this is an important time. Hong even gave up his prehistoric level autojet, so why would he be stingy? There's actually a backdoor in your autojet, I can control it from afar. Hong said, I'll start controlling your autojet now, do you want to stay in or come out? Come out. Luo Feng immediately flew out of the fighter jet. Looking at the dark blue triangular fighter jet in front of him, even though in Babata's eyes, this type of fighter jet that could only fly within planets was simply a cheap toy in the universe. But it had been with him for a long time. You've done a good deed for humanity. Luo Feng looked at the fighter jet. I'll control it and leave. Hong's voice resounded from the handphone. Immediately the dark blue triangular fighter jet swiftly flew away, heading towards the nearest Jiangnan headquarter city's main city district. Obviously it needed to carry the atomic bomb first. Heck, can you tell me what's the yield? Luo Feng couldn't help but to ask. Due to the lack of time, it's 150 million tons. Hong said, before the Grand Nirvana period, there wasn't even a place to experiment with such a large yield. Once it explodes, even if it's nighttime, I'm afraid China will still be able to see the sun in the north. 150 million tons? Luo Feng slightly nodded, this is humanity's ultimate weapon. Maybe it'll cause quite a few monsters to mutate. But humans don't care, mutating into an emperor-level monster is already not bad, how can it be stronger than the swallowing monster? Luo Feng, Archaeological Ruin No. 12 is in the Pacific Ocean, not far from the Hawaiian archipelago. The distance from here to the destination is 8,000 kilometers. Right now you can only rely on the Soaring Shuttle to fly. According to 5,000 meters per second, you'll need 1,600 seconds. Your speed exceeds 5,000 meters per second, so you should be able to arrive in around 25 minutes. Babata said. Okay. Let's go. Luo Feng didn't hesitate, immediately stepping on the Soaring Shuttle, becoming a beam of light as he swiftly flew towards the Hawaiian archipelago. The European countries, China and Russia worked together. The European countries contributed 3 atomic bombs, China contributed 5, and Russia contributed 8. The Dojo of Limits also contributed 2. These 18 atomic bombs were in the 18 triangular fighter jets, one of which was LuoFeng's. And the 150 million ton hydrogen bomb and the atomic bomb used to detonate it, were contributed by Russia. As time was tight, they urgently searched for the hydrogen bomb, only then did they realize. Russia, one of the 5 great powers, was actually able to take out a perverted thing with a yield of 150 million tons. Of course, Russia would not hold back anymore when it came to the survival of the human race. They would directly and proudly take out the biggest thing they had. It was placed in the prehistoric level autojet, flying towards the northern part of Asia. Along with the 18 cannon fodder, a total of 19 triangular fighter jets. There were all sorts of colors, red, blue, black, etc. And among them there was 1 prehistoric level, 1 universe level, 4 emperor level, and 13 elite extreme fighter jets. Even though those 13 were slightly weaker, they could still be piloted. A total of 19 fighter jets, all piloted. It could be said that from the outside, there wasn't much difference between these 19 fighter jets. We must succeed. We must succeed. America, Russia, Europe, China, India, 23 headquarter cities, the HR Alliance's upper echelon, the entire world's highest echelon at this time, through satellite surveillance, they could clearly see the 19 fighter jets flying from different locations. These 19 fighter jets were separated, some in front, some behind. Night, above the Pacific Ocean, Luo Feng stood on the Soaring Shuttle, becoming a beam of light swiftly flying towards the Hawaiian archipelago. One had to know Luo Feng could currently control 19 weapons at once. Rushing while looking at his tactical communications watch, this wasn't hard at all. The first one. Luo Feng's tactical communications watch had the right to watch. On the screen, a black triangular fighter jet was swiftly flying towards the northern part of Asia. The swallowing monster was currently destroying a base in the wilderness. Northern Asia. A black beast over 180 m long, scaled wings flapped, swiftly flying high in the sky, its dark golden eyes filled with coldness, savagery and killing intent. The golden horned beast was one of the most terrifying space beasts. Its bloodline contained savagery and savagery. Suddenly it stopped, floating in mid-air. Because it discovered, a little dot was flying towards it from the front. Maybe from behind, the fighter jets couldn't catch up to the swallowing monster. However, with the satellite tracking and the fighter jets flying towards it, of course it could touch it. How? The golden horned beast waved its right claw. Explode. This first triangular fighter jet was one of the 18 cannon fodder Emperor-level fighter jets. According to the AI system's orders, the moment the swallowing monster started attacking from afar, it would immediately self-destruct. There was no need to care about the distance. Rumble. This Emperor-level autojet immediately exploded. At the same time, the 20,000-ton yield atomic bomb also exploded. On Luo Feng's tactical communications watch's screen, he could only see a small sun appear in the dark night, enveloping the swallowing monster in the distance. A mushroom cloud rushed into the sky. The shockwaves were like ripples on the surface of the water, spreading in all directions, causing the sky to darken. In just a breath's time, the swallowing monster had already appeared over 100 kilometers away. There wasn't a single wound on its body. A 20,000-ton yield atomic bomb exploding a few hundred meters away to it was like a gust of wind blowing past it. The second one is coming. On the tactical communications watch's screen, the image of the second fighter jet flew past. The 18 cannon fodder atomic bombs, each with a power of 15,000 tons, 60,000 tons. A 20,000-ton yield atomic bomb, even if it bombed a county, would only turn the center of a few hundred meters into rubble. 2 to 3,000 meters would be covered by the shockwaves, shattering glass. A city with a population of a few 100,000 people would die. This kind of power, in the tens of millions of square kilometers of no man's land in the north of Asia, indeed wouldn't affect humans. The second one doesn't have any long-range attacks. That's great. The dark night sky. The golden horned beast spread its huge wings. The explosion from before made it feel very interested. This second fighter jet flew to 50 m away from it, only then did it extend its claws to grab it. Rumble. Another small sun lit up in the wilderness. A mushroom cloud rushed into the sky. Howl. The golden horned beast felt its claws being shaken up was quite comfortable, and according to its inherited memories, as long as it reached the star level, this planet wouldn't pose any threat to it. This was also the reason why it only left the ocean after reaching the star level. The third atomic bomb, the fourth atomic bomb. One after another suns, in the dark night sky. One after another mushroom cloud rushed into the sky. The atomic bombs were like fireworks in the north of Asia, exploding again and again. Explode. The upper echelons of the countries all over the world watching, were all extremely nervous, their hearts in suspense. Even Luo Feng, who was flying above the ocean, Hong and Thunder God, who were in the dojo of limits, were so nervous their palms were sweating. Because, the cannon fodder mixed with the real thing was about to enter the arena. 18 cannon fodders and one carrying a hydrogen bomb. Now, 9 consecutive fighter jets carrying atomic bombs have exploded. The 10th fighter jet. At this moment, on Earth, China, America, Russia, and all the Star Traveler level fighters were watching the live broadcast on the satellite. Everyone's hearts were in suspense, because according to the original plan, the real thing would be somewhere between the 10th and the 14th night. The golden horned beast's scaled wings gently flapped as it swiftly flew. Its dark golden eyes had a hint of excitement. The consecutive explosions of the atomic bomb created some extremely high temperatures and particle flow, causing the parts of its body that were in contact with the atomic bomb to feel numb and itchy. And it found out. This stimulation to its body caused its body to slowly grow faster. Just like how a person trains their muscles, Giving them a certain amount of pressure will cause the muscles to grow faster. And this golden horned beast has lived in the ocean for such a long time, so it has never been threatened, so it grows normally. This kind of stimulation is actually quite effective. Howl. The golden horned beast saw another triangular fighter jet flying towards it and let out a happy howl. This was a dark blue triangular fighter jet, the one that accompanied Luo Feng for a long time. Shio. The fighter jet was like lightning. Whoosh. The golden horned beast swung its powerful tail that was covered in scales. The speed of its tail far exceeded the fighter jet's flying speed. Rumble. When its tail touched the fighter jet, the atomic bomb had already exploded. The 30,000-ton atomic bomb exploded on its tail. The violent energy from the fission suddenly exploded, forming a dazzling sun that covered the golden horned beast's entire body. The shockwave swiftly spread in all directions, the earth seemed to undulate like waves. Pacific Ocean. A human silhouette became a beam of light a few hundred meters above the ocean. It was shockingly fast. Luo Feng, your fighter jet is gone. Bata's voice sounded in his sea of consciousness. Luo Feng stared at the tactical communications watch on his wrist. So what if it's gone? Look at the 11th one. Luo Feng stared hard. The tactical communications watch's display changed to the 11th fighter jet that was flying past. A blood-red triangular fighter jet. Had Hong's? Luo Feng's heart jumped. Luo Feng, let me remind you, you've already reached the ocean above Archaeological Ruin No. 12, Babata's voice sounded. Whoosh. Luo Feng swiftly accelerated and stopped above the ocean. We'll go down in a bit. Luo Feng stared at the screen. This 11th time we're going for real. If a 150 megaton hydrogen bomb were to explode on the surface of the body, it would be hard to say how it would deal with a golden horned beast that had just stepped into the star level. After all, I've never heard of anyone doing such a thing. Babata was very excited too. Different from him, Luo Feng was in a state of anxiety and anticipation. Not just Luo Feng. At this moment, Hong, the god of thunder, and the other peak martial artists, as well as the leaders of various countries and the upper echelons of the military, were all watching nervously. The 11th one. This was the real deal. Success. Humanity had the confidence to survive this calamity. If he failed, then humanity would be plunged into a nightmare. A nightmare even more terrifying than the Grand Nirvana period. United States of America General Headquarters. The dark-skinned president and his cabinet members were staring at the screen in front of them. The president held his daughter's hand tightly. Dad, it will succeed, his daughter said. We'll definitely succeed. We definitely will. The dark-skinned president held his breath. The entire room was filled with tension. Everyone stared at the blood-red battleship on the screen. It was currently flying towards the golden horned beast. China's wilderness. A large amount of troops were moving swiftly on the ground, and a disc-shaped battleship was circling in the sky. This was the southeast military base that had just retreated. Within the battleship, Commander Li Dawei stared at his tactical communications watch screen. We'll definitely succeed. We definitely will. Li Dawei muttered to himself. His gaze was like a magnet that was attracted to the watch. Beads of sweat appeared on his forehead, and his entire body couldn't help but slightly tremble. At this moment, Russia, India, Europe, and 23 headquarter cities were all watching this scene at the same time. Everyone was silently anticipating. In front of such a calamity, even the craziest people, those filled with ambition and evil, were all anticipating success this time. 30 more seconds until encounter with the swallowing monster. Hong and Thunder God stared at the screen in front of them, the AI's voice resounding in the room. 23 seconds. 22 seconds. During the countdown, Hong and Thunder God's gazes were as sharp as blades, almost cutting the screen in front of them. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. North Asia. Its entire body was as black as ink, with only a single golden horn with golden engravings piercing the sky. When the golden horned beast was flying, it swung its tail twice comfortably. So comfortable. When its tail came in contact with the atomic bomb and exploded, it caused its tail to go numb. Simultaneously, this part of its body swiftly absorbed the metal energy within. Howl. The swallowing monster discovered the 11th triangular battleship. This was a blood-red triangular battleship. The swallowing monster immediately let out a joyous cry that resounded throughout the land and skies. After all, in the golden horned beast's long life, it had only been born for a few short years. Right now it could only be considered a child. The swallowing monster opened its gigantic scaled wings. Flew over. He was about to touch it with his scaly belly to make it feel numb. It was very comfortable. Success. It must succeed. Kill it. God, protect humanity. At this moment, all of the elites of Earth were extremely nervous. Luo Feng, Hong and the others were so nervous that they didn't even dare to breathe. When they saw that the swallowing monster actually didn't have a tail or claws, but instead used its belly to touch the hydrogen bomb, everyone had a suppressed excitement in their hearts. 2. 1. The final countdown resounded throughout the dojo of Limit's headquarters in Hong's room. At this moment, time seemed to have stopped. The golden horned beast's belly and the blood-red battleship instantly collided with each other at an astonishing speed, and about 10 meters before the collision, the atomic bomb in the blood-red battleship had already exploded. At the same time the atomic bomb exploded, the 150 megaton hydrogen bomb, the most threatening weapon of Earth's humanity, the battleship self-destructed. The hydrogen bomb exploded. In front of this explosion that was who knows how many times stronger than before, the golden horned beast immediately retreated as if it was a conditioned reflex. Obviously it realized the danger. However, the hydrogen bomb had already exploded on its belly. How could it make it in time to retreat? Boom 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 boom. It exploded. At this moment, including Luo Feng, everyone's screen instantly turned white. China, Jiangnan headquarters city's main city area. At night, the streets were brightly lit. Look. North. It's so bright. In the distant northern horizon, a sun appeared. The sun was incomparably dazzling. It made many people on the streets dazed. Why is there a sun in the middle of the night? Oh my god. Many people on the streets were excitedly making calls, wanting to tell their friends and family, and some were even preparing to take pictures with their phones. There's no signal on my phone. What's going on? Why is the internet cut off? In a nearby internet cafe, a few youths rushed out. Wow, there's a sun in the middle of the night. It's a nuclear bomb, it's definitely a nuclear bomb. The streets were completely boiling. At this moment, the entire China, the entire Soviet Union, Russia, and the European Union all saw the dazzling sun. The gigantic mushroom cloud made people even more dumbfounded, and more than half of the entire Earth's communication was cut off, and in China, the European Union, Russia, etc., only the high-level personnel who received special services could still communicate. Silence. All over the world, the leaders of each country, the upper echelons of the military, and the Star Traveler-level fighters all stared at their screens, which were no longer dazzling. Only, the billowing smoke and dust, that gigantic mushroom cloud rushed up to 100 kilometers above the surface into the ionosphere. The number of monsters that died in an instant in the northern part of Asia reached an astronomical figure. A large number of monsters were instantly burned into nothingness by the high temperature, and even more were directly killed by the powerful shockwave. Did it succeed? Above the Pacific Ocean, Luo Feng stood on the Soaring Shuttle and stared at his tactical communications watch nervously. The elites on Earth were all anxiously waiting, as if waiting for the verdict. The verdict was whether the entire human race lived or died. Northern part of Asia. Far away in the billowing smoke and dust, a golden light fiercely rushed out and then stopped flying. Pitch black scales covered its entire body, its neck, back, and other scales that extended to its tail had golden engravings, just like a black and gold armor. Its head was still held high and that horn was still as sharp as ever. Only, its abdomen actually had a huge wound that was over 10 m long. Fresh blood was flowing and one could see thick and powerful muscles rapidly entangling, like entangling tree roots, and automatically repairing themselves. Howl? The golden horned beast raised its head and let out an enraged howl. As noble as it was on this planet, it was actually injured. China, Kyoto headquarters. Looking at the screen, the scene of the swallowing monster raising its head and roaring furiously, and the huge wound on its abdomen, everyone was stunned. This. A white-haired old man opened his eyes wide, his face filled with anxiety, anger, and unwillingness. Pooh. He immediately spat out a mouthful of blood and actually fell to the ground. Senior officer, someone immediately went to support him. However, the other leaders' faces were either pale, their bodies were trembling, or they couldn't believe it. No, this shouldn't have happened. Jia Yi, who was dressed in a Chinese tunic suit, stared at the screen. Despair. At this moment, of all the upper echelons on Earth, a small number of them directly died from cerebral hemorrhage and some even had heart attacks. As for the others, they were filled with anger and unwillingness. They couldn't accept it. At this moment, no matter what skin color, what race, they were all filled with despair and unwillingness. The golden horned beast was alive. This was equivalent to announcing the death penalty for the humans of Earth. Luo Feng gritted his teeth as he stared at his tactical communications watch, his eyes bloodshot, his fists clenched so tight they made cracking sounds, the veins on the back of his hands popping out. If it was a star-level 1 human fighter, a 150 million-ton hydrogen bomb would have killed him long ago. The golden horned beast is indeed the pinnacle bloodline of the space beasts. It's indeed a metal-devouring beast with shocking defense and attack. Babata too was shocked by the space beast. The metal type, its scales defense was already very strong. Not to mention the golden horned beast that swallowed and absorbed metal to grow, its defense was simply too sick. Stop talking. Luo Feng roared angrily. Within the wrist AI virtual space, Babata, who was lying on the sofa, was about to continue boasting and commenting on the golden horned beast. However, after being scolded by Luo Feng, he was speechless. He actually dares to scold me, the demon Babata. Babata bared his teeth, revealing his fangs, muttering, I am the great demon Babata. Back then I killed a bunch of sector lords and he actually scolded me. This punk is on the verge of going crazy from grief. Forget it, I'll be magnanimous and forgive him. Babata's logic was clear, he understood how much pain Luo Feng was in. However, he couldn't empathize. He had followed the Yun Mo planet master for tens of millions of years, an entire planet's race had been destroyed, he had seen it many times. Hence he didn't feel anything. However, he knew. Luo Feng was on the verge of going crazy. Or it could be said that the entire world's upper echelon elites were all on the verge of going crazy, they were all suppressing the madness within. Luo Feng couldn't care much, he immediately called home. Little Feng, we saw the north side was very bright, almost like a sun. Your brother said only a nuclear explosion would make it so bright. Just what happened? Luo Hongwa had just opened his mouth. Luo Feng immediately said, Dad, Mom, immediately head to the second floor and enter the gravity room. If you want to know what's going on outside, bring my laptop in and go online to check. The other computers probably can't go online right now. Remember, before I return, don't come out of the gravity room. Oh. His family also realized the severity of the situation. However, they didn't know just how serious it was. After hanging up, Luo Feng lowered his head to look at the dark and endless ocean below. Now I can only hope that I'll be able to find a weapon that can kill the golden horned beast in one of the 3 great regions, Archaeological Ruin No. 12. Go down. Luo Feng's gaze was like a cold, sharp blade. He stepped on the soaring shuttle and brought along a sharp wave of energy as he charged straight into the ocean. In the night, the dark seawater rippled slightly, boundless and boundless. A beam of light shot directly into the sea and then continuously fell down. Luo Feng, the distance between the surface of the sea and the seabed is about 5,100 meters. And Archaeological Ruin No. 12 is 3,300 meters below the seabed, Babata said. Understood. With Babata's navigation, even though he was surrounded by seawater, Luo Feng's route was still very accurate. A large number of sea monsters lived in this deep sea. Although there were currently a large number of sea monsters that could attack inland along the river. Those that attacked were only a small portion of the entire sea monsters. After all, there were too many sea monsters. It should be known that humans were stronger than land monsters in terms of strength, so why did Hong still come forward to negotiate? Instead of killing all the land monsters? Because among the land monsters there were king-tier monsters, but there might not be a beast emperor. However, there were only close to 1 million human fighters on Earth. And a level 3 rat tide would have millions of rat monsters, close to 10 million. A level 1 monster tide was measured in the hundreds of millions. The land monsters actually fought with humans. The monsters' reproductive abilities were too strong, with dozens of them in a nest, humans couldn't compare. No matter how strong Hong was, could he kill all the monsters on Earth? That's why peace was maintained. Even the land monsters forced humans to do this. In terms of numbers and species, the sea monsters far outnumbered the land monsters. Even if they blocked all the rivers inland, they would only be a small portion of the entire sea monsters. As he continued to dive deeper, Luo Feng also saw large amounts of sea monsters. Luo Feng, who became a beam of light, instantly killed all the sea monsters within a 100-meter radius. Fresh blood immediately dyed the surrounding water red. Kill. It was a simple kill. Luo Feng's intense anger, pain and unwillingness to die, killing these sea monsters was just a way to vent. After all Luo Feng could imagine. The terrifying scene of countless sea monsters killing their way inland and attacking the various headquarter cities. Who knows how many humans would die? Seabed. Luo Feng stepped on the seabed. The seabed was undulating, almost like a mountain range. The terrifying pressure of the water at a depth of around 5,000 m, after being greatly weakened by Luo Feng's cloud contact armor, it had already become very small. In terms of reducing impact, defense etc., Luo Feng's cloud contact vine far surpassed the Black God set. Especially the initial nurturing, it allowed the cloud contact vine's life form to greatly increase. 3,300 m below. Luo Feng swiftly descended, piercing through the seabed rocks, continuously sinking. Babata, such a secret place, how did the countries of Earth discover these ruins? Luo Feng asked as he descended. Relying on Earth's technology, of course they couldn't, they relied on some interstellar battleship remains to search the entire Earth. Babata said, other than people like me who can isolate signals and disguise themselves, making it impossible for you to detect, the other ruins on Earth have all been discovered. Luo Feng, we're here. Babata said. Luo Feng immediately slowed down. As he broke through the rocks, he struck a hard object, causing his entire body to shake. Battleship remains? Luo Feng's spirit energy spread out, immediately covering an area of 500 m. In his mind he quickly had a rough idea. This was an extremely large battleship, and Luo Feng's spirit energy could only observe a small part of this battleship wreckage. According to his observations, Luo Feng felt that it was even bigger than the one in the Dojo of Limit's headquarters. Swiftly breaking through the rocks, through one of the holes in the already damaged battleship, he drilled in. TSK Luo Feng, we've come at the right time. We've come at the right time. Babata was excited. What's up? Luo Feng also discovered that the alloy walls of the passageways within the battleship had already started to rust and decay. This is the space fleet's mothership. Babata said, that means it's the entire fleet's commanding ship. Mothership. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. I suspected it was a mothership back then, otherwise normal battleships wouldn't be in such a desperate situation. Babata said, this mothership's length is 16,000 m, its width is 3,200 m, its height is 800 m. Even though it's not the biggest battleship in the fleet, its defense is the strongest, its attack is the strongest. Luo Feng was excited too. Where are the weapons? Where's the desperate situation? This mothership itself wasn't the real Archaeological Ruin No. 12, the real desperate situation was a secret cabin within the mothership. Wait a moment, let me search. Babata also had a detection method. He quickly scanned the entire mothership carefully. Luo Feng. As this mothership was damaged, it had no defensive capabilities, many of the weapons within had long been dismantled, the ones that weren't dismantled have already decayed. There's nothing better to protect, Babata said. Now hope lies in ancient ruin 12. Just follow this passageway straight ahead. The core of Archaeological Ruin No. 12 was a secret cabin within the mothership. While walking within the huge battleship remains, Luo Feng, the leaders of the various countries have gathered in the War God Palace's meeting room. Babata suddenly said. Luo Feng's heart tightened. Right now, Earth was in an unprecedented crisis. Even their strongest weapon, the hydrogen bomb, had been used. And after this, the golden horned beast definitely wouldn't give humanity another chance. They've decided the entire world's countries will be under military control, and will begin the human inheritance plan. Babata said. What? Luo Feng's expression changed greatly. Military control, representing the large headquarter cities, stock exchanges, supermarkets, etc. all shut down. Where people live, what they do, what they eat, it was all controlled by the military. Food was provided by the military. Where people live, when to escape, everything was according to plan. Military control, it was obvious that it was the worst possible time. As for the human inheritance plan, obviously the various countries had silently agreed that this war would be lost, and the current war was only to ensure that more people could survive in the future. One could only imagine how many people would die in this war. The number of people that could actually survive would be very, very few. Even if they did survive, they would still be in danger. Quick, find the strongest weapon and kill the golden horned beast. Luo Feng continued to head towards Archaeological Ruin No. 12. After a while, in a secret cabin, there was a disc-shaped ship with a diameter of about 100 m parked. The entire ship was completely black. Even though it had been parked here for who knows how many tens of thousands of years, the ship's body had very little corrosion. On the black ship's body, there was actually a huge winged dragon engraving. The ship representing Archaeological Ruin No. 12, is this it? Luo Feng was below the ship, looking up at the ship before him. This black disc-shaped ship, after so many years, the various countries of Earth had thought of ways to get it. Because of this ship, many people had died. Even councilman powerhouses had fallen here. Until now, it was still completely unharmed. Haha, so it's actually this. Back then the master destroyed an interstellar fleet in one move. Looks like within this mothership there's a huge figure. He's actually able to afford the Black Dragon Mountain X81 model ship. No wonder no one from Earth has been able to enter. This X81 model ship is one of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's famous exploratory ships. Babata was extremely excited. Luo Feng knew. The Black Dragon Mountain Empire, that was a powerful empire that ruled over the Black Dragon Mountain starfield. Even the Silver Blue Empire was only one of its over 500 subordinate countries. Luo Feng, there's hope. This X81 model ship's construction costs is much more expensive than the entire mothership. The X81 model ship's standard weapon, even killing a star level 7 or 8, has hope. Babata was very excited too. I didn't expect this mothership actually has a figure that can afford the X81. There's hope of killing a star level 7 or 8? Luo Feng was shocked. This year he had learned quite a bit in the virtual space. Luo Feng also understood. A universe-level warrior was able to fight with an interstellar fleet. A star level 7 or 8 was over 100 times stronger than a star level 1, very close to the universe level. That was an absolute warrior. Even an interstellar fleet would have a hard time killing one, much less an adventure ship. This is the Black Dragon Mountain, the X81 model. Babata said, in the Black Dragon Mountain starfields 8,000 over galaxies, countless planets. These are all very powerful adventure ships. Usually only universe-level warriors or those with a strong background can afford them. A ship used by universe-level warriors, with a weapon that has hope of killing a star level 7 or 8, is that weird? What's more, I only said there's hope. The powerful warriors wouldn't be so stupid as to place themselves in danger. Luo Feng couldn't help but carefully look at the ship before him. Pure black, disc-shaped. Hehe, with this X81. The demon Babata, wouldn't have to work so hard to build a ship from start to finish. As long as I hack into the X81's AI system and completely control it. Then I'll modify this X81 adventure ship a little. Luo Feng, you'll be able to ride it and adventure in the universe. Babata was very excited. Building something from scratch, how could it compare to the convenience of having something already made? Oh. Luo Feng nodded. And Luo Feng, even if I build it, I won't be able to do better than it. Its workmanship is very high, and the main material used for the entire ship's body is a metal called black yttrium. The broken pieces you gave me are far from comparable to this black yttrium metal. Even the cleverest housewife can't cook without rice. No matter how powerful I am, with such poor materials, I can only build a normal universe ship. It can't be this good. This X81, made of black yttrium metal, even a universe-level warrior would have to expend a lot of energy to destroy it. Babata complimented. Most universe-level warriors when they ride ships are only of this grade. No matter how expensive it is, even a universe-level warrior would feel heartache. Luo Feng nodded. This ship was for a universe-level warrior, and the Unimo planet ship was for an undying warrior, the master of Unimo planet. Was a pity? It was broken. If it wasn't broken, riding the Unimo planet ship with just one dive would be enough to slice the golden horned beast. After all, it was a terrifying ship that could easily slice a planet. After all, that was a ship that could easily slice a planet. Babata said, all the countries on Earth in order to enter this X81 adventurer spaceship have suffered countless deaths and injuries, but you can't even enter the hatch. Babata, how do I enter? Luo Feng asked. According to the documents Hong had given him, The most difficult part of ancient ruin number 12 was the entrance passage. After opening the cabin door, there was an entrance passage. At the end of this passageway was the airship gate. However, many people from the various countries on Earth had died on this passageway. Even Hong and God of Thunder couldn't open this spaceship gate. I am extremely clear on the X81 ship's construction. Planet ship. Star Dragon, Dragon and Star Dragon 1-1 is the X81 Star Dragon levels. The of light shooting out from. Star level. Tion star level of star level. Star Warrior. Earth's representatives Star Traveler level 1 or 2, even if they wear black god sets to weaken the attacks, they will still die. Only Hong and Thunder God wearing black god sets they can do it. LuoFeng listened carefully. Lasers are a very powerful weapon. You Earthlings, if you put more effort into laser research, you may have even higher achievements. Babata evaluated. Very powerful? LuoFeng rarely heard Babata praise him. Of course it's powerful. Babata continued, from a theoretical point of view, if the light continues to gather, its strength will increase, causing its power to increase. In theory, the laser's power can increase infinitely. Of course, there are many difficulties. However, the laser weapons of the higher civilizations are something even sector lords have to be careful of. Of course, this laser path can't be that powerful. Babata said, what you need to do now is to charge through the laser path and open the door. Once the laser path passes, it'll be done. But opening the door is very difficult. Your head Hong and the one called Thunder God, honestly Thunder God's name pisses me off. Within the wrist virtual space, Babata snorted, the two of them have no way of opening the door. This mechanical door, to be able to lift it, one has to be a star level 3 or 4 fighter to be able to move it. Star level 3 or 4? LuoFeng shook his head. He definitely wouldn't be able to move it. The difference was too huge. Can you break it from the front? Use that shard. LuoFeng said. The door's material is black yttrium metal, to break it from the front? I've said it before, even a universe-level warrior would have to spend a lot of energy. The hybrid copper essence shard is powerful, but your strength. Babata said, alright, what you need to do is, insert this toy into the gap below the door. In front of Luo a peculiar tool appeared. At first glance, it looked like an axe. The axe's blade was extremely thin, and this extremely thin axe's length was about 3 m, its width exceeded 1 m, it was a very peculiar tool. Just insert that extremely thin side into the gap between the door and the ground, that'll do. Babata said. Alright. LuoFeng's thoughts moved, immediately the cloud contact vine's leaves swiftly extended, the cloud contact armor completely protecting LuoFeng's entire body. Following the dust-filled ground, he walked towards the ship. Cabin door. LuoFeng floated in front of the cabin door, both his hands grabbing the gap, fiercely exerting force. Open! Voila! The cabin door opened, revealing a 30 m long pathway. The entire pathway's sides were filled with densely packed holes. It wasn't glass like LuoFeng had imagined. A laser pathway? LuoFeng took a deep breath. The soaring shuttle automatically transformed into the mountain shield, protecting his body. So, he fiercely rushed forward. Shio! 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 Immediately beams of white light lit up, piercing through the entire pathway. There were even some lasers as though they had sensed LuoFeng. The holes slightly turned and actually shot towards LuoFeng. The speed of the lasers was 300,000 kilometers per second. Even the golden horned beast couldn't dodge in time, much less LuoFeng. Rumble. A portion of the lasers hit the mountain shield, and the mountain shield smashed onto LuoFeng's body. There were also lasers that shot onto LuoFeng's body at the same time. Over 10 lasers hit. Within the pathway. LuoFeng, who was originally rushing forward, was blown back even faster. On the ground, LuoFeng brushed against the ground for 10 m, before crashing into the metal walls of the mothership. LuoFeng, what are you doing? Babata couldn't help but shout. Rush in, I'll stick this tool into the gap between the door and the ground, didn't you say so? LuoFeng rubbed his chest. If I don't rush in, do I have to use my spirit energy to control this tool? I'm afraid the moment I enter, it'll be destroyed by the lasers. LuoFeng was very confident in the cloud contact vine. The first time he nurtured it, it was already very strong, after which it ate the Muya crystals. Until now, the cloud contact vine's strength was around the Star Traveler level 7 or 8. If the cloud contact vine fought LuoFeng, unless LuoFeng used the hybrid copper essence shard, he wouldn't be its match. Because the cloud contact vine's defense was strong, LuoFeng dared to rush in. No problem, this tool won't break so easily. Babata said, I'll use my spirit energy to control it. Then that's easy. LuoFeng heard Babata's words. He wasn't worried about the tool breaking. After all, it was a laser that could kill a Star Traveler. Once again entering the cabin door. LuoFeng used his spirit energy to control this hatchet-like tool. 19 threads of extremely tough spirit energy wrapped around the hatchet tool. Shio. The axe became a beam of light. Pa. A white laser shot out and the axe was directly smashed outside. It's really not broken? LuoFeng used his spirit energy to control the axe. The laser is too fast, what should I do? LuoFeng's gaze swept, making up his mind. Mountain shield. The soaring shuttle split into 365 blades, swiftly forming the mountain shield. The mountain shield covered the axe, sticking close to the ground. Go. LuoFeng's gaze was cold. The mountain shield and the axe below it flew like lightning, sticking close to the ground. At the same time, the laser shot over. Peng. The laser hit the mountain shield. Disperse. The mountain shield actually broke apart, becoming 365 blades. With so many blades, immediately a large amount of laser shot towards the blades, and the axe that stuck close to the ground like lightning, stuck close to the ground and pierced through. There was definitely a very small gap between the black yttrium sluice gate and the ground. Chi. The ultra-thin blade of the axe was forcefully inserted into it. Hoo-hoo-hoo. The axe let out a strange sound. The black yttrium sluice gate was actually slowly being pushed up. Under the sluice gate was the axe. The originally extremely thin blade actually split into 2 layers, the top layer continuously pushing upwards. The entire sluice gate was constantly being pushed open. This scene made Luo Feng dumbstruck. Babata, you said this sluice gate can only be opened by a star level 3 or 4. Luo Feng was shocked. Why don't you take a look at what I'm using? This is the Monumental Power Push. Oh, in the universe language it's called XXX. Babata said, it's similar to what you humans call a jack. You have to know, repairing a universe ship requires many tools. When I built the ship before, I naturally got many tools. The Monumental Power Push is one of them. For example, if the ship breaks down, it's stuck somewhere. If the fighters can't move it, what do? We just have to rely on the Monumental Power Push. Babata said proudly, this Monumental Power Push's technical requirements are extremely high. Luo Feng realized. Luo Feng, why aren't you rushing in? Babata said. Luo Feng looked at the end of the laser tunnel. The sluice gate had already been pushed up a full meter. The universe ship repair tool, the Monumental Power Push, was still pushing the sluice gate up.